video, I'm going to talk about a concept from close guard where you use your hips and legs to move your opponent around, and you're using timing. Basically, what you're doing is you're timing your opponent's disconnection from his hips, from his heels, so in that way I can work to tilt him certain ways and also set up different movements. This is a concept that applies to a lot of different things from the close guard, so I think it's very important that you train this and that you understand this as well. So this is what I'm talking about. Basically, I have Chris inside my close guard here, and right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little drill. When I feel him starting to come up even a little bit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my hips to my right or my left, it doesn't really matter, and I'm also going to rotate my knees. So as soon as I start feeling him shift, I'm going to turn my hips and turn my knees. If you look what happens, it makes him start going off balance. Now if I add grips and I add other things, I can possibly use this to get sweeps and other particular setups, especially if I had wrist control or leg control or anything along those lines. So you want to get used to using your hips, twisting them, but also feeling when the person doesn't have a good base. So right now he has a pretty good base. So when I go to turn him, I'm going to have trouble doing this. But as soon as I feel him disconnect a little bit, now it's much different. He has to post his hand out, so he feels more uncomfortable. This can help me set up certain grips and so on and so forth. So get used to this drill here. Right now I'm having trouble pulling him forward, but as soon as he starts lifting his hips up a little bit here, now I can start pulling him forward. So I'm practicing the concept of twisting my hips right, left, and even driving them forward. What I mean by driving them forward is as I drive my knees to my chest, my hips are going this direction. My knees go this way, and my hips go this way as well. So pay attention to that, because it is extremely common for the person to lift their hips up. One example is, let's say he's going to put his knee in the middle of my butt. Usually when they go to do that, there's some sort of disconnect before it happens. So when he goes to put his knee in the middle of my butt, I already twisted my hips there because he disconnected his butt from his heels. It was a minute disconnect, but I felt that disconnect, and then I had the ability to start shifting him. So even here, when he goes to square back up, it's a little bit harder for him to do that. I can start working different things. Or even when he goes to, say, let's say he lifts his hips up, and I come here, and I feel him going to square back up this way, I can shift him back this direction. So it's just very good to get used to doing that. If we change our angle a little bit, let's say you see a back view here. Now I have my position, and then Chris goes to move whatever way. Here, I shift him. So all I'm doing is I'm taking my legs, I'm shifting my hips, and I'm driving my knees the opposite direction. I believe this is a pretty important concept to work on. One of the big reasons too is because it's very simple to do, and at the same time, you mess with the person's base and balance. And if I'm messing with his base and balance, I'm also messing with his mind as well, and it's going to make it a little bit harder for him to do the things that he wants to do. Now, timing is important because if you wait too long, then it's too late. If you go too early, then it's too soon. What I mean is, if I go too early, here, like this, it's too soon. If I wait too long, let's say he brings his hips all the way up, stand on your knees here. So like this, now it's too late. I can't move him as well. I need to find that midpoint. So if I don't react fast enough, it's too late. If I react too soon, then it's too early and I can't get it. I need to find that middle ground. So now when he goes to go, now I can work to hit it. Usually the best time to do this is right off the initiation. As soon as you start feeling that little bit of elevation, then you turn your hips, and now you have the ability to kind of make them go off balance for a second. And then you can use that to set up different things, especially if you already have grips established. Right now, I just did the drill without any grips. The reason why I did it without any grips is because I wanted to just practice the concept of moving him around with my hips. But if I have sleeve control or wrist control or head control and collar control or leg control or whatever along those lines, and I add in the hip twist,
it then helps me do other movements, and it can be applied to a lot of different things. It's just a very good and very minute concept that can actually help a lot of people, especially when you're a closed guard player. It helps you have an active closed guard as opposed to a stale and stalling closed guard. So try this out. It's something I believe that you should definitely add to your game. If you have any questions or comments, post below. All right.